and so compressed, it's probably going to cramp your masseters and it's going to impact your TMJ and it's going to become painful. But what's going to happen is if you relax your mouth too much, it also has the ability to potentially cause these muscles to spasm. So you kind of get stuck between a rock and a hard place. Let's talk about temporomandibular joint dysfunction. So we've known since about 1965 that people with hypermobility do have a prevalence for things like temporomandibular joint dysfunction, or TMJD. You often hear a lot of people call it TMJ, but TMJ refers to the joint. What we're talking about here is the kind of dysfunction that comes with laxity when we're hypermobile, and more importantly, when the jaw doesn't move or it sits in a position that's not really supposed to be in. So I thought we'd put together this really quick video just to give you an idea of what's actually going on, but more importantly, give you some little exercises to just help start to kind of take the pressure off the joints, and more importantly, let you sleep properly. Because with things like TMJD, it's going to massively affect our ability to sleep. And if the last 30 years of research into sleep and pain have taught us anything, it's that when we have sleep disturbances, we get more pain. So if we think about it as a holistic kind of view, a big BPS bubbles type way, one of the things that's going to really help us is if we can help people sleep, okay? And if we have a painful jaw that's given us headaches before we go to sleep or headaches upon waking, then that's going to mean that when we wake up for the day, we're going to be in a massive disadvantage for the day ahead, because we're already going to be tired, we're already going to be fatigued, we're already going to be a bit brain foggy, and our chances of our pain rising throughout the day is going to increase massively. So let's have a look at the temporomandibular joint. We noticed a while ago that a lot of our hypermobile clients who do have things like TMJD, when we're speaking to them, the teeth touch. Now, keep in mind that the only time your teeth should really touch is when you're chewing your food. Every other time, there should be a little gap in the mouth, like this. If you're constantly like this, clenching, bracing, then that is going to cause us to impact the joint, and it's going to cause irritation, and it's going to become quite painful. So watching this, just have a look at yourself. Are you sat there with a space in between your teeth, or are your teeth completely touching? Because if they are completely touching, then there's a pretty good chance that you do have TMJD, okay, and a little bit of dysfunction within the jaw. So let's cover a couple of exercises that's going to help us just kind of take the pressure off the joint. And remember, this isn't a quick fix by any means, because that's not how things work, okay? Getting out of pain, it takes some time, it takes some consistency more than anything else. And whilst these exercises are going to help, we're going to be looking at more things that we're going to have to do in kind of long term to really help with our dysfunction with the jaw. So if we look at muscles such as the pterygoid, especially the lateral portions of it, okay, that helps us with protracting the jaw, taking the jaw outwards. So if I wanted to exercise this muscle, which is a pretty good muscle to help with things like TMJD, first off, what I want to do is I want to relax my jaw. I want to decompress the joint. So all I'm going to do is just open my mouth. I'm just going to relax my jaw. Then what I'm going to do, because of the way that the fibers run, I am going to push my jaw outwards, okay, straight ahead. Now, if this is the first time you've ever done this, you probably aren't going to do it right. And what's going to happen is you're going to go out and up at the same time. I want you to try and avoid that for this particular exercise, okay? We want to keep a space in between the teeth, okay, to keep this joint decompressed. So relax it, chin, if this muscle is particularly weak, you're going to find that this is going to be quite tiring, which is good essentially, because it means we're working the right things, okay? So that's a really simple way that we can just get used to decompressing the joint, and it kind of helps us break the pain cycle by just not having as much going on in the joint, not having it so compacted. That's a really important thing to understand first and foremost, okay? What you're probably going to find as well when you try and do this one specific exercise is that you're probably not going to have good control over the pterygoid muscles, okay, especially this lateral portion of it. And what's going to happen is you're going to do what we call in the studio poo face. Like you're sat in the toilet, you're going to start doing this, you're going to start scrunching your face. Just try and relax. More importantly, nice and tall, elongated neck. So decompression first. you'll more than likely hear a little bit of clicking and clacking and cracking up by the TMJ. That's normal when you do this. So I would say try this exercise, okay, throughout the day, just to start working the pterygoid muscle, okay? More importantly though, if we look at research, different things like that, we often find that when the suboccipitals become a little bit angry, it can often cause activation of the masseters. So your masseters here that help us with chewing are incredibly strong, ridiculously strong. So what I would say is, once you have a little bit of work, just helping the jaw to move forward, I would do a little bit of work on the suboccipitals. So the easiest way you could do this is if you palpate your own head, you'll feel two little bony points here, okay, on your skull. And just underneath them is what we call your suboccipitals, okay? You're going to use your thumbs, okay? If you've got really hypermobile thumbs, anchor here, okay? If you don't have really hypermobile thumbs, you could probably use your pressure from your thumbs, but I would stick there. But we're going to put them just under our head, just like this, okay? More importantly, we're nice and tall, okay? We've got a nice elongated neck, and we've got very, very, very subtle chin tuck. Then we're going to focus on one side. And what we're going to do is just push one side up while we press the other side down. So it would look like this. And I do enjoy this stretch. I used to do this all the time when I used to have my chronic headaches, my chronic migraines. And it is a really good stretch. And we're relaxing it. And we're doing the other side. And we're just pushing up the suboccipitals, okay? Remember, when we're doing things like this, it's not so much directly affecting the muscle, it's more so affecting the nervous system, which is essentially what we want. So I would just spend 2 or 3 minutes just alternating between the sides. Just to kind of calm down and relax that suboccipital area, so it's going to relax our jaw so that we can do our exercises, okay? So we have our little uplifts with the subops. We have an exercise that's designed to get us to work the pterygoid muscle, the lateral portions. And we're going to add one more in, okay? This is going to focus more on the superior medial portions of that pterygoid muscle. Again, it is an important muscle. All you have to do, again, good posture, elongated neck, relax the mouth, and as we go forward, as we protract, we're also going to go up, okay? The way that the fibers run here, they run like that. So we want to do the same action to work them. So I will say one thing, try and avoid closing your mouth when you do this. You want to keep that gap maintained. So you're going to relax the jaw, just like that. So you'll probably notice these will tire your jaw out really quickly, which is a good thing because it shows us that we're actually working the right muscles. Once you get a little bit better at them, you can start to add a little bit of load. So our first exercise, you can just add 2 fingers, either side. Don't worry about we're focusing on one side or the other side, just do them both. 2 fingers on the jaw, decompress the jaw, forward. So you can see, I've got a little bit of pressure putting back. What you're probably going to find is it's not going to come back nice and smooth like mine is doing at the minute. You're going to do what I used to do, and your jaw's almost going to jut back like that. If that is the case, don't press as hard. You can always build up the load that we're putting through the joint and putting onto the actual tissues. But there are some really simple exercises that you can do to help with the positioning of your jaw. What I will say again is that we have to look kind of towards the future, okay? Not just about what we're doing right now, but what's going to help us in the long run, and that is mainly going to be your jaw positioning, okay? So like I said, if you're sat watching TV and you notice that your teeth are completely closed, it puts you into a no man's land, because it means being so compact and so compressed, it's probably going to cramp your masseters and it's going to impact your TMJ and it's going to become painful. But what's going to happen is if you relax your mouth too much, it also has the ability to potentially cause these muscles to spasm. So you kind of get stuck between a rock and a hard place. If that is the case, what I would say is when you start watching television, you could do 1 or 2 things. The first thing you could do is put your tongue behind your front 2 teeth. that will relax the jaw and it'll bring your jaw forward a little bit and it'll take the pressure off here. The second thing you can do, the thing I enjoy, if you're especially in a bit of a flare up at the minute, is finger like this and just relax. Just relax onto it. That's going to allow you to be able to relax your jaw, have that space, have that decompression, but you're effectively got your finger to anchor on, so it's not going to cramp and spasm. Okay, I remember years ago I went through a phase for about 4 or 5 days where I couldn't close my mouth because it would cramp, but I couldn't open it and relax it because it would spasm. So I'd spend a lot of time with my mouth open, decompressing the joints, and I'd just have my fingers just here, just applying a little bit of pressure, just let my nervous system do what it does best and turn things down. It is a little bit more uncomfortable, but the more you do it, the better you get. So looking at kind of TMJ, there are some really simple things that you can do, but more importantly, things that you can do throughout the day over a couple of weeks to help, firstly, calm down the TMJ, and secondly, help promote a bit of a better jaw position so that it's not going to constantly be dislocating, and more importantly, it's not going to constantly be causing you pain. So hope you enjoyed that. If you enjoyed it, please drop us a comment below, or any other questions, feel free to drop a message. See you later, guys. Bye.